That's right. We got beef, too. I just don't like them. What? There is a lot at stake this weekend, as first impressions are the most lasting. Saturday morning, it is going to be a battle. I can't decide whether or not it's real beef, made up beef. I don't know, but it's beef. Those first impressions lead to building an audience or declining an audience, and it's going to be fascinating. By the way, this show is presented to you by our friends at Prize Picks, and hang on here. I got two I think are going to be absolutely fantastic. Season-long bets in the NFL. You're going to be digging them. You're going to make money, and you are going to thank me. It's going to be a little delayed gratification, but that's okay. Season-long Prize Picks. Hey, I think we got some beef, and I think we got some beef that might be squelched this weekend. It's Pat McAfee and Ryan Day. Friend of the show, friend of mine, the great Pat McAfee, is not apparently a fan of Ryan Day, and I can't decide, and I'm going to let you decide, and I'm going to bring Davey in this a little bit later to decide if this is real. I want to know what's real and what's not. On Tuesday, Pat Mac, not one to mince words generally, well, Pat Mac was clearly pinning that the head coach finally was opining, was not happy that the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Ryan Day, decided to show up on his show on a day Pat Mac was missing. The one day Pat Mac wasn't hosting. Pat Mac says, and I'm quoting here, I just don't like him. What? All right. Pat Mac talks about not being a fan of the Ohio State Buckeyes head coach. This is weird to me. Is this real? Davey, listen close, because I'm going to need your input on this.
Ryan Day on the show. That's crazy. I didn't know that fucking guy would come on this show.
Come on. We got some inside info from the two Ohio State lads.
Come on, dude.
Me, Ryan Day, we'll call it outs.
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is. Two ships passing in the night.
No, not even passing. No. I see his ship. I turn mine around and go the other way.
Ryan loves him.
Yeah, does he?
All you guys.
I don't know. He was on. I think he was on Ellen DeGeneres' show. It was canceled.
He definitely doesn't.
Help him out.
He went on everybody's show.
Ellen.
He was on Ellen. Ellen's show wasn't even around, and he tried to get on it after he won a national championship.
I think anytime he knew he was offered to be on the show, he would come on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, but instead
he threw a curveball. His opening comment had a lot to do with that. He said if he knew you wanted him, he would come on.
Yeah. No, I understand. Not everybody needs to come on our show either.
No.
I listen. This is me. Understand? Hat in hand. You know.
I'm guessing somebody dropped the ball.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to potentially talk to you. You know that.
But what if it never got to him? And you're saying all these nasty things.
I'm not saying nasty things. I'm just letting him know.
Those are nasty things.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Those are all nasty things.
That I don't like him?
Yeah.
He's a national championship winner.
You love him.
I don't. But
You've had him on. I mean, you guys have gotten along great.
Those days are in the past. Yeah, those days are in the past. So cool.
Well, you'll get to see him again Saturday.
Can't wait. I got a lot to say. You don't have to be thinking a lot. There's a lot of self-reflection when you're.
I don't know. Davey, is that real or is that just, a guy talking? What do you think?
Dan, I think it's real initially. And my thought behind this is when Ryan Day won a national championship, his opinion changed. If you go back, if you remember everything that happened with Lou Holtz, and they had the fake Lou Holtz as well, joined the show, and then the actual Lou Holtz was saying those things about Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day wanted to distance himself from Pat and did not like the Pat McAfee show. And he also had a lot of pressure from Ohio State fans. But now that pressure's off of him from winning the national championship, he's probably like, I don't care as much. I would be willing to come on. That's my take on the situation.
All right. This comes on the heels of Ryan Day being accused of playing a role in banning Dave Portnoy, which he did. I mean, everybody wants to deny it, and guys are calling me left and right from Fox, but he did. Ryan Day was the guy that banned Dave Portnoy. I don't know why that would bother Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee worked for Dave Portnoy. He was with Barstool for a minute. Now, Pat Mac did try to walk back the comments, but some are speculating that he is doing it because A.J. Hawk, his sidekick, is Ohio State legend. I don't know. Look, I don't really know. I think that Pat Mack probably doesn't like Ryan Day. I don't think it has anything to do with the Portnoy stuff. That's their business, not his business. Pat Mack's smart. He understands that Portnoy and the boys at Big Noon Kickoff are going to cut into some of the joy of Lee Corso's last time putting on a helmet. I don't know. But what I do know is he did try to walk it back. Here it is.
Either. AJ, speaking of waking up in the gray, had to talk with Coach Ryan Day this morning.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
Misunderstanding.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think I tried to tell you that before.
Yeah, you got to remember, I was 20 hours on a plane. There was a lot of.
It's good, though. Communication helps everything, right?
It was great. And once again, I thought he hated us. So that means, by fault, I have to hate you. That is just how I am. That is how I operate. Turns out he doesn't hate us at all. Complete opposite. Just somehow missed the request, which he said never happened. We sent numerous.
There you go. Look, I like beefs. You know I like beefs. Not the brightest thing for anybody between Pat Mack and Ryan Day to have beef. Why can't we all just get along? Can we all just get along? I mean, seriously, Dan, can we all just get along here? But anyway, there is a lot at stake this weekend as first impressions are the most lasting. And right now, ESPN's Game Day, of which Pat Mack is an absolute star on, he made the show. Pat Mack going up against Big Noon Kickoff, and Big Noon Kickoff's got all the suck. Why? I'll tell you why. Well, because of Dave Portnoy, and because Ryan Day banned Dave Portnoy from being in the building, inside the shoe, to do the show. And that causes drama. Drama causes headlines. So, Pat, along with Lee Corso's last day, is causing drama, and I'm here for it. Pat's smart. Pat may really dislike Ryan Day, but it's hard to dislike Ryan Day. Like, literally, I know if you're a Michigan fan, you dislike the other team's team. But Ryan Day is an uber nice guy. It's really difficult to dislike Ryan Day, certainly if you're an Ohio State fan. Now, I get the whole Michigan thing. I do. I get the whole we lost to Michigan 4 straight years. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I think everybody understands that's a fan part, but I'm talking personally. And that's where Pat McAfee and Ryan Day would be at. They would be at a personal level, not necessarily a professional level. The professional level would be if a guy comes on my show and we have a talk. But really, Ryan Day, as 99.99999% of people that know Ryan Day know him to be a really nice guy. Really nice guy. So he's hard to dislike. But, hey, we got beef, and you know I'm always here for the good beef. Now, this weekend is going to be fascinating. Saturday morning, it is going to be a battle, and you're not going to find out the results probably until Sunday when the ratings comes in. But I would guess between now, this morning on Thursday, and by the time we get to Saturday, you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear a lot from Dave Portnoy on this situation. You're going to hear a lot from Pat McAfee. Those are the two guys, one with Big Noon, Portnoy, one with Game Day, McAfee, that are driving the bus here. People are going to tune in to watch Urban's breakdown, which are the best thing on TV. People are going to tune in to watch Saban talk with his hands and be philosophical. People are going to tune in to Game Day because they've always watched Game Day, or Big Noon Kickoff because they're starting to get traction. I get it. And by the way, Big Noon Kickoff is right there before the game that Fox has, which is Texas taking on Ohio State. I mean, hey, let's be honest. That's the biggest game maybe of the year, all year, and it happens on August 30th. So, Battle Royale, I'm here for it, but I don't necessarily believe that Pat McAfee on a personal level ever really, truly disliked Ryan Day. I just don't, because Ryan Day's a pretty good guy. One thing is certain, though, both Fox and ESPN are generating a hell of a lot of buzz. I mean a hell of a lot of buzz before this college football season. Now, somebody's telling me, well, you don't have to generate buzz for Texas and Ohio State. Hold on here a second. Let me just explain to you this. This pocket of time, I don't know how long the shows go. Let's say 10 to noon. This 10 to noon is completely separate from noon to 3:30 or whenever the Texas-Ohio State game ends. So understand, this block right here is a different matchup. It's Big Noon Kickoff against game day. Now, what's at stake? Moolah, money, scratch. Higher ratings, more sponsors. Higher ratings, higher you can charge for those sponsors. It's a big deal. And don't ever forget, this happens in love, this happens in business, this happens everywhere. First impressions are the most lasting. And going into a new college football season, which we are, I understand we had week 0, throw that out. Going into the first real week, the first real matchup of game day and big noon kickoff, first impressions last. Many new eyes are going to be drawn to both. You want to keep those eyes. You want somebody to say, boy, did I enjoy watching that. That was great. It was fiery. Whatever you like. Some people like mellow. Some people like loud. Whatever you like. Those first impressions lead to building an audience or declining an audience, and it's going to be fascinating. It really is. I don't necessarily watch either show. Like, I don't wake up and say, I got to turn game day or I got to turn big noon kickoff on. I don't. I turn it on, and it's on pretty much as background noise if I'm not playing golf on a Saturday, but I'm going to watch this Saturday. I think it's going to be fun. And I hope starting 10 minutes ago that Dave Portnoy is talking. I hope starting 10 minutes ago, McAfee's talking, because I think it's important. I think it's something that makes it more fun. I think it's something that makes it more interesting. I think it's something that draws viewers, including me. So we shall see. All right, I mentioned this episode presented by Prize Picks. Hey, here's the deal. I made 2 picks yesterday. Preseason football gone. Regular season getting ready to start here in a week in the NFL. College football is here. Don't miss any of the action on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is very simple. Very, very simple. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Say that again. Pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money on Prize Picks. I just did it. I'm going to give you 2 as we move along the show. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So play for 5. Get 50. That's code DAKICH to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Hour 2, Prize Picks. Run your game. Hour 2, I'm going to give you my 2 picks. They're season-long picks, and I love them. I do. Now, here's the problem with season-long picks. As you guys know, somebody gets hurt, you got a problem. All right, Colin Cowherd sat down with Joe Klatt. Joe Klatt and Colin Cowherd to discuss the state of college football. And Cowherd did not hold back on those who are complaining that NIL is ruining the sport. Instead, Cowherd believes people just aren't used to the fact that payments to players, which used to be taboo behind closed doors, is now discussed openly for everyone to see. Honest to God, adding that in sports, college football in particular, they've always been a haven. They have. They've been a haven for the haves and have-nots. College sports has always been about the haves and have-nots. They have. I'm sorry, they have. I mean, you could say it hasn't been. You could say this changed it. Doesn't change it. I mean, let me be honest with you. When I was at Indiana, Coach Knight, I've told this story many times, we'd have some issue. He would call the NCAA and get the issue resolved immediately. Immediately. It was done. I go to Bowling Green. They wouldn't even take my call. There's always been the haves and have-nots. I agree with Cowherd here. Here's Cowherd talking about it, and I'm digging this right here. Here's Cowherd.
Here's the thing, Joel. We always know in sports there's dominance. There's no such thing as parity. Serena Williams dominated women's tennis for over a decade. Nadal, Joker, Federer, like we Djokovic. We know that. We know that in that could be downhill skiing. It could be international soccer. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United, or Manchester City, Man City, Manchester United. It's the same big dogs that have been dominating sports our entire life. But we're okay with it if it's because of topography or geography or brilliant coaching. UConn women's basketball, UConn's men's basketball, shocker, they're both great. We don't like it when it's money. That's why we're much more comfortable with salary caps in the NFL. The NFL, we always think, oh, they got a hard cap. 2 franchises, New England, Kansas City, have dominated the last 25 years of the sport. It's NBA that's got 7 champions in 7 years. The thing about college football, the money is so in your face now. We're like, I'm not comfortable with this. It is getting lopsided. Oregon is the only top 8 program that has emerged in 30 years. It's always been a have and have not sport. Sports has always been have and have not. International soccer to college football, but because the NIL is discussed and we know what they make and we hear about bidding wars, it's icky.
He's not wrong about that. I mean, it has always been this way. Always. And to anybody that doesn't think it is, now, the one thing that I find interesting and I'm fascinated by is how much guys are making. And I wonder at what point are we going to do what we used to do? I don't know if they still do. I haven't paid attention. But the USA Today used to put the salary of every baseball player when it was baseball season, every football player, and every basketball player. Yeah, I don't know if you still do that. I'm not talking about doing it in newspaper. They used to. I'm talking about doing it online, now. But the one thing that I would always say is I would love to see what players are making. I was at a dinner last night with a couple of guys, and they knew what certain players at Indiana football was making. And it's fascinating to me. And I always try to think of this like, wow, what would I do with that money? I don't think it's as icky as it used to be. I don't. I think doing this up front, in fact, in my world, has made it more interesting. I think doing it up front has made it more interesting than some fat-ass guy down in the South that's a car dealer carrying a bag into some poor kid's home, dropping a bag of cash on mama's table, and saying, we're going to get you to go to Alabama or Texas A&M or Old Auburn or War Eagle or all that kind of crap. Now, that crap I think is icky. At least this crap is above board. But to Cowherd's point, he's right. But I'll tell you what else, and this is something no one has done yet. Maybe they have, and I just don't know it. So for me to say no one has done, but think about this. I said this, if I went to Bowling Green, if I went back to Bowling Green State University, a MAC school, no resources, not compared to what's going on now, but I would get about 5 or 6 millionaires that I knew there. I would gather them together and I'd make a pitch. I'd say, look, let's take a big, massive swing here. And I would have data like when Valparaiso 20, 30 years ago made a run to the NCAA Sweet 16. Man, enrollment pumped up, everything pumped up. I said, let's do this. Let's gather as much money as we can, and I'm going to go out and try to buy the best players that I could possibly buy. Players that I could maybe beat out from Ohio State if they weren't going to pay him as much. That would give me a chance. See, I had no chance to beat out Michigan or Ohio State or Indiana when I was at Bowling Green on the previous way. Now, if I got money, maybe I do. Maybe I can't outbid them. I don't know, but maybe I can. It at least gives me a fighting chance. That's one thing that people are missing here. They really are. Now, you're saying to me, well, you're never going to raise as much money as someone like Indiana. I don't have to over that long haul. I have to once. Just once to make a run and put my school on the map. Just once. Now, other schools, San Diego State, Dusty May's Florida Atlantic team, they've made great runs without that. It's fascinating. Let's see what happens. Football is a different animal. Too many players. Can't do that. MAC schools have no chance. 0 zip. I would be shocked. I think 16 of the last 18 years, something like that, a MAC school has beaten a Power 5 school. You're not going to see that. And if you do, I'll tell you what, that Power 5 school sucks. It's all changed. When Indiana can raise millions and millions and millions for not basketball, but football, it's all changed. Football sells. Basketball would have a chance to do it. But Cowherd's not wrong, although I don't think Cowherd's all that right. I think the other way was icky as well, at least for a guy like me that played by the rules. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I kind of dig it. I kind of dug last night having a beer, eating a prime rib, celebrating our golf outing with my committee, and having a couple guys that absolutely 1,000% know tell me the different salaries of different players of IU basketball. I was kind of digging it. I kind of liked it. I thought it was funny. IU football, not basketball. Hey, just wanted to say we appreciate you. We appreciate you watching the show. If you love the content, which we know you do, I'm playing a little hurt today. Be all right. We may stop the show early because this isn't getting us anywhere with this voice, but we'll talk to Joe Thomas, the Hall of Famer, coming up here in a minute. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@don't@me to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content. Hey, Davey and Dylan, we're probably going to cut this show short. I just got some texts from Gary and Aaron. So I want to make sure that we get our prize picks in before we go to Joe Thomas. So is it possible that we could do this right now? Now, we are partnering with Prize Picks because I think Prize Picks is great. Now, by the way, that right there is, excuse me, is our new YouTube page. And you're signing up in droves. We're damn near over 1,000 already in one day. It's youtube.com/@don't@me with Dan Dakich, all one word, no apostrophes, no A sign. There it is right there. You see it. Go right now. Let's get to over 1,000. We're getting close. All right. Hey, here's my prize picks. Might as well do it right now because I think we're going to end the show after the Joe Thomas interview. Here they are. Season long. Honest to God, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, more than 3199.5. He's going to throw for 3,200 yards. He threw for 3,800 yards last year. He did. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for somewhere between 35 to 4,000 yards. I don't know that I would go more than 4,000 yards, but the number that I'm going more than is 3,199.5 yards. I'm taking that like I'm taking a nap. I'm taking that like I'm taking cold medicine. Are you crazy? I'm taking that like it's my job. And then the other one, and I've said this to fantasy players all over the place, Jonathan Taylor is going to have a monster year. Now, you guys know, I know, everything goes south when somebody got injured. All right? Jonathan Taylor in his second year went for 1,800 yards plus. Jonathan Taylor then got hurt, held out, all this kind of nonsense. He's back. He's healthy. He's been in camp. And everybody that I know within the Colts organization tells me we're going to use Jonathan Taylor. Don't panic if early in the season Jonathan Taylor doesn't get a ton of yards. Don't panic if Jonathan Taylor starts out slow. Jonathan Taylor always starts out slow. They always start him slow for whatever the reason. And then he'll drop a 290-yard game. He'll drop something pretty good. He'll do all that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, he'll be over 1,200.5 yards with 3 games to go. No, I'm telling you, Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Rodgers, it seems like they're giving away stuff. I think you get 5 times or 4 times back on those 2 season-long bets. I love them. I don't like them. And season-long bets are fun because many times, season-long action is fun because many times you simply, you forget about them. And next thing you know, whoa, I got that. Wow, that's great. Download the app today, the Prize Picks app today, and use code Dakich, DAKICH, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 in lineups. It's great. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's code DAKICH. Get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Now, it's terrific. There's no reason not to. I love those 2. I think those 2 are fantastic plays for you. I do. I don't know. I mean, I don't love season long. I don't dislove them, but I like them because I forget about them or it gives me something to watch each week. And I think that's good. Those are worth putting in. I'm telling you, man, Jonathan Taylor, I don't know who fantasy players pick. I don't know how you go about it. I'm a bad fantasy player, but a lot of people pick running backs. If I have the first pick in a fantasy draft, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to have an incredible year. All right, this is important. Of all the things that are important, this is really important. I think most of us would agree with this. Finally, the Trump administration is the one administration that truly gets it. Fall weddings. Fall weddings have been the bane of people's existence for a long time. Fall weddings should be banned. It's football season. We don't have time for your magical ceremony. We don't have time for your magical ceremony that takes up the entire Saturday. I tell you what else should be banned while we're banning things. Weekend or week-long bachelor parties. You want to have a bachelor party, go down to the local bar, hire a hooker, stripper from the local establishment, dance around a little bit, drink till you throw up, and go home. I don't need a destination bachelor party with 17 rounds of golf that cost your buddy $5,000 each. Don't need it. Marco Rubio is doing something about it. Secretary Marco Rubio is asking President Trump to sign an executive order on the issue. This is all in jest. I understand people lose their mind. Here's Rubio talking about it.
This thing about people getting married on Saturdays during college football season is a scourge, Mr. President. It's dividing families. I don't know if we can have an executive order on this. It's insane, but it's really difficult. There's 7 other months of the year that people can get married, so I just wanted to say that because it's very, very difficult. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got to get to the important stuff, and I know people lose their mind. And by the way, I'm Batman. Anyway, there you go. Marco Rubio, he's trying like hell. And I don't blame him. Look, my good friend, dear friend, I was in the wedding, gets married. Cubs are in the playoffs, 1984, or 89, I think it was. First time or second time in our history, and we're all huddled in the back watching the game. Man. All right, Travis Kelce is soaking up the spotlight. Any shot he can get right now, from breaking the Guinness World Book of Records for podcast streams to getting engaged to the biggest star on the planet. Now the football star is launching his own clothing line with American Eagle. And he's catching hell for it, right? He's catching hell. Now, wait a second here. Hold on. Didn't Travis Kelce tell us that he had a bad year last year because he wasn't focused? He was too worried about, quote, going Hollywood. He was too worried about outside interests. This is why I put up on our new YouTube channel. I don't know, man. The Chiefs, if they're going to get anything out of Kelce, it certainly seems like he has not done what he said he was going to do, which is eliminate all distractions and move it towards football. I mean, now all of a sudden you got engaged, which is great. Hey, far be it from me to care whether anybody gets engaged, but that's a massive distraction. And now apparently you're going to launch your own clothing line with Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle. Good for American Eagle, good for Travis Kelce. In this latest money-making venture, Swift's team has Kelce out putting food on the table with his True Colors sports and lifestyle brand for American Eagle, where it appears people will be wearing tan and white or a version of tan and white this fall. Kelce, Variety reports, kept the campaign a secret for nearly a year. It was an awesome opportunity to team up with an established brand where both sides were excited to truly collaborate on every decision in the design and creative process. I got to tell you, man, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs and I'm paying this guy this kind of green, I'm asking a couple questions like, yo, what are you doing with football? Paying you a lot of money. I mean, seriously. I don't know. There you go. Look at that. I don't think any of these match what I'm all about, but hey, good for Travis Kelce. And by the way, American Eagle has been on a tear. Sydney Sweeney got him going, man. Sydney Sweeney got him going nice. That ad propped up the stock. That ad did everything that they could possibly do. I don't know that any of these really fit my style. In fact, I know none of them do. But hey, I'm not one of the cool kids. I'm wearing an old Oakland golf shirt. The hell do I know? I mean, tomorrow I'll probably wear a Cubs shirt. They're in a 2-game losing streak, and I need to bring them out of that funk. We'll see what happens tonight. But looks to me like Kelce's got it going on. I mean, again, I could you imagine wearing that thing in the middle? I guess the kid upper right with the hoodie over the jacket, okay, that fits. But I don't know. You got to be one of the cool kids. All right, woke loser and comedian Mark Maron lost his mind while discussing Bill Maher and Netflix. He takes issue with platforming the Dave Chappelle show. We can't have Dave Chappelle talking, apparently, according to this guy, Mark Maron. Yeah, he's mad. He got it. He got it right because he started out where he should have, using the word fascist. Everybody's a fascist, a racist, a sexist, right? I mean, he's all over Dave Chappelle. And, of course, Netflix and Bill Maher because they're fascists. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can't do it, this guy said. Always had a problem with Maher's tone. We're worried about tone. We got bad tone. And it happens with some of the other boomers. I like being a boomer. I'd rather be a boomer than a bleeder. I'll let you figure out why I call these little pussies bleeders. I gave you a hint right there. There's this desperate chasing of relevance that changes someone's mind in terms of how they approach what they do, and also kind of makes the whole undertaking feel desperate. He's got good joke writers who know how to write for his tone, but I can't see past the desperation of what he's willing to do to stay in the conversation. Mark Maron. Okay, I don't know who Mark Maron is. I'm going to look him up. I'm sure he's interesting. I'm sure he's fascinating. I'm sure he's a guy that we're all supposed to pay attention to. So I put M-A-R-C and his name comes up. So oh God, he's an old guy. He's an old guy. He apparently has a big podcast and he's got a beard and weird glasses. So he's one of the cool kids. All right. Okay. So yeah. He's got that old professor look. Oh, all right. I mean, he went to Boston University. Alternative comedy. Black comedy, self-deprecation, cringe comedy. Oh, all right. Apparently, he was a frequent guest on Letterman. He's a Conan guy, so why would you like? I mean, all you got to do is look at this stuff. Who cares, right? I mean, all right. So he's calling others boomers. The dude's 61 years old. No, okay. And as always, he's an old comedian with drug and alcohol issues, and now he's philosophical, and we're all supposed to really give a shit. Fascism is good for business. Netflix will just, co-op. That's a big word with them. Anyone that can take the algorithm. I used to do a joke about it. Netflix became right flick very quickly. When they had pushback from the trans community about Chappelle, they realized after several days that the community was not going to affect their bottom line at all. Right. All right, you get pushback about a comedian. You should get pushback about a comedian. What the fuck? I mean, what? A comedian should push the boundaries. There should be pushback. But, of course, the old druggie, the old alcohol guy, the old guy with the weird glasses trying to be relevant, this guy Maron, he's mad about that. Good for him. Be mad. Go over there. Mark, go over there and be mad. Seriously, I get it. You're mad. You're 61 years old. You got the old philosophy because you were, weak back in the day. And okay, great. Go do your thing, man. All right. It's fine. They realized after several days the community was not going to affect their bottom line, right? And if it doesn't affect your bottom line, screw them. No. They cut them loose. That is how fascism works in business. Well, I don't know. That's also how capitalism works in business, too. I mean, damn, I'm trying to make money. I'm a company that's trying to make money. Less than 1% of the population is mad about something. Go over there and be mad. That's how I look at it. No, seriously. Hey, look, that's fine. No problem. And I don't understand. If you're mad, you're mad. This is why we need intervention with the delusional left, because its completely disregard for language has gotten out of control. Fascism is a system of government controlled by an autocratic dictator. All right. Fascism typically does not allow free speech, and according to Merriam-Webster, forcibly suppresses opposition. Isn't that what this guy's trying to do? So Netflix is running a business, and Chappelle is good for business. And this guy is trying to squelch that business and Chappelle. Now, I'm no genius, and I admit to that. But isn't that what this guy's trying to do? Isn't that what he's trying to do? Isn't that what he's trying to suppress free speech? So Netflix supporting free speech, including allowing Dave Chappelle to tell jokes, is not fascism. It's just remarkable that the left has made the definition of fascism into anything I don't like. That's right. Wait, so now I like this guy Maron. I didn't know whether I was supposed to like him. I don't know. Now I like him because he's right. That's what I'm saying. All right, I take back everything I said about the guy. Now, I don't understand. The article says, comedian says Netflix allowing Dave Chappelle trans jokes is fascism, but Netflix supporting free speech, allowing Dave Chappelle to tell jokes. Oh, this is our guy speaking. I'm sorry. Yeah. I get it now. Isn't it amazing when the host doesn't understand the whole thing? I read this earlier, and I thought I had it. I didn't. So, again, I go back to this. This guy Maron is a dumbass. I get it. See, all these guys, it's like the other day, I'm on the street in Chicago, and the guy comes, hey, man, I got this great idea. He's an idiot. Leave me alone. Because you don't have a great idea. You're some street kid. Get away from me. Anyway, so now these older guys, these older comedians that had drug, alcohol problems. They come out of it in their 60s. Now they got all the answers, right? This Marin guy. This is kind of fascinating. Yeah, if you don't affect my bottom line and it morally doesn't bother me, and maybe it bothers you, screw it. I'm doing it. I'm trying to make money in my business. That's the way capitalism works. It's not fascism. Jeez, I got a headache from these guys. All right, imagine you're going about your business delivering food to customers as a DoorDash driver. You're ringing a doorbell. Next thing you can see is some 65-year-old dude with his junk hanging out, fully exposed when he opens the door. It's not a pretty sight. 2 female delivery drivers saw this when delivering Georgia man Frederick Riley's order. Both delivery drivers claim that he answered the door without any clothes on. One of the women says that he invited her in, but she declined the invitation. Pretty smart. Those claims of answering the door naked seem to be validated when a female officer knocked on his door and yelled DoorDash. It took a minute, but the 65-year-old answered the door. When he did, he was naked. A third alleged greeting in the buff was caught on the officer's body cam. Yeah, I don't need that. What are you doing? Man, they all look alike, don't they? They all look alike. He just wants some loving. Come on. Fox 5 reports the body cam footage wasn't all the evidence that police had. Sergeant Chris Richterson of the Cowherd County Sheriff's Office said one of the drivers was able to snap a picture of him at the front door and he was fully naked. Come on, show the picture. We'll spare you the picture. Riley evidently believed in America that you can answer your door however you please because he was shocked to find out that he was being placed under arrest. He was charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure. For the 2 separate DoorDash delivery greetings, he's out on bond, $1,200 bond. I was a DoorDash driver. Craziest thing I saw, I didn't really see anything crazy. One time early, I drove up, pulled up, a bunch of guys were getting hammered in their driveway. Dads, kids were playing, these dudes were hammered. They're like, Dan, you're really doing this? I go, yeah, I got to pay my family back, all that kind of stuff. They gave me a $100 tip. We took pictures. That was about it. I didn't see anything. Usually you didn't even interact with the person. Usually you read the thing on your phone. It says drop, take a picture, and that's what you do, and you're out of there. I'm always looking to see something, though. I'm always looking to see something good. Hey, we'll be right back. Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer, next.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football. You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest a VIP treatment. This is your shot to punch your ticket to the college football weekend of a lifetime.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course. We're also hooking up 10 more fans with Outkick hats, and everyone who enters gets a discount to the Outkick shop.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit Outkick.com/sweepstakes. College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
Does anybody, is he going to have to stroke a check? Has anything like that happen as far as messing up anybody's houses in here?
He didn't. I did not hear any glass break. I did hear him say, please don't watch my shot. Don't look at that shot. But, he did well.
Landon, what did you think of the overall experience?
With all these live professionals and live golfers out here, their games didn't seem to impress me when I was caddying for Dan. He's easily the best golfer here at Chapman Hills. He's a great guy.
We're here with Dan's golf coach, Lee.
Yes.
How was today?
Up and down. I'm going to say up and down. I think first 9, Dan played really well. He did. And then got a little shaky towards the end there. Putting was way off. He's usually a better putter. Putting was way off. But you know what? Great day. A lot of good people. Had fun. And I have to say, as soon as I didn't have to be his caddy anymore, he may have started playing better.
I will say, the live experience, it seemed like every 3 or 4 holes there was a bar set up. Do you think once we kind of got to the bars, that played a pretty big impact as far as Dan's game?
It may have. I'm not gonna confirm that one way or the other.
We're here with the man of the hour, Dan Dakich. You just finished 18 holes. Dan, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I tell you what, it makes you feel like a big guy. You're inside the ropes. You're playing like a set-up championship course. I hit the ball good, couldn't putt, but what a great time. My wife was there, Landon was there, great pros. What a great day. Thanks to everybody at Outkick for letting me do it, get me in this thing. Yeah, I don't know. The overestimation of I got tired. I'm not going to lie, Davey. I don't know, the bars and all that. I did take a shot. Actually, I took 2 shots because my back started hurting. You know, here's what happens when you get old. I told my wife, I go, man, I'm getting stiff as I walk. Like, I don't know. And I think when I went in the hot box, there was a bathroom that was in the sun, and I went in it, and I came out, and I was drenched with sweat. I'm like, oh, don't go in there, fellas. But thanks for coming out. That was a great day, and I got to lose my stomach. The stomach, it's got to go. Stomach has got to go. Too much stomach. Too much stomach.
Nah, Dan, we had a great time. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And, following around, you had some great interviews. We're going to have some more content coming out later. I know we got an interview we're about to play, but it was a good time. Yeah, it's the way in which Lee answered that question I thought was great because I had to go away for a bit, so I didn't know if things got off the rails while Ryan and I were away while y'all were, I guess, playing. I think it was around holes 1 through 5.
Started out really well in the back, and I did shank 2. Like, I shanked 1 on the front, and and then on 8, I shanked 1 off the tee. But the beauty is we were playing a shambles, so you got to, play the best drive. But I think I needed to start drinking before the round. I think that was more important. I think, oh, man, I was telling Lee, I go, damn. And you should have seen, by the time we were done, Famer Joe Thomas to you. That's right, people. Respect, Congratulations, Joe, on the Hall of Fame. Man, how fun was that?
That was awesome, man. I got to have my 4 kids there. My wife was there, the gold jacket dinner. I got to have all 4 of them on stage. Jerome Bettis gave me my gold jacket. So there was some Steelers-Browns love that you don't normally see, and it was just amazing being able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame right down the road from where I played all my games in Cleveland.
Yeah, and you played every freaking game, 10,363 freaking games. Let me ask you, how do you view, I know you linemen are like, well, I'm just doing my job, all that stuff. But when you see like basketball guys take load management games or guys, how do you view that? How did you get yourself to play every game? And how do you view others that got to take a day off every 10 days or so?
Well, the beauty of the game of football is we got a day off every 7 days. So we got 6 days off. So it was great. You didn't have to worry so much about trying to save yourself for the end of the season when I did play in Cleveland because there usually was an end of the season. We didn't have those nice playoff runs. But I think, for those guys, they're just being realistic about, hey, am I trying to win a championship or am I trying to be there every night no matter what for the fans, which might hurt our opportunity to be able to win a championship in the playoffs when my team needs me the most. So I think each sport is a little bit different, but our sport was unique because you did play 1 game per week, and it was easy for me. I shouldn't say easy, but it was evil. At least I had the ability to go out there even if I didn't feel amazing and play week in and week out, because I knew that the guy behind me, the quarterback, the running back, the guys that we were blocking for, they were counting on me to be available. And I was definitely a better option than my backup, even if I was only 70% because of injury or 80% because I don't have to run like a receiver. I just got to be able to move in a short little area and give those guys around me an opportunity to find a little hole.
You mentioned the Browns. You're obviously a Browns legend. You're also doing preseason games. All right. Take me in the locker room of a dynamic where you got a 5th-round pick who's a 4-string quarterback, popular dude. Every media guy's killing Stefanski because this guy, Shador, doesn't get a chance. I mean, walk me through what's inside that locker room.
Well, thankfully, it's not every media guy. I think the people that have some rational takes are the ones that aren't saying crazy stuff like Kevin Stefanski's intentionally trying to sabotage his 5th-round draft choice, or the Browns are purposely trying to destroy this guy and not give him an opportunity. No, they're treating him exactly as he is. He's a developmental prospect. He's a 5th-round draft choice who was drafted after Dylan Gabriel. So naturally, when you come in drafted after the guy at the same position as you, you're probably back behind him in the pecking order. And as they go through training camp, they evaluate, okay, first of all, we're trying to win this season, and then we're trying to evaluate and develop the guys that are in those backup roles. And so for Kevin and the Browns, they've been pretty steadfast about, hey, we're trying to develop these guys for the future, see what they have. But right now, Dylan Gabriel is more capable of managing our offense and giving us an opportunity if he has to go in there at the beginning of the season because of injury and carry the load and read the defense and make those quick decisions that give the other 10 guys in the offense an opportunity to be able to play at their best and give the team a chance to win. But I think inside the locker room, it's really probably much to do about nothing. I got the opportunity to coach a little bit with the Browns offensive line during training camp this season. And really, if you didn't know anything about what was going on the outside world with Dylan Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders and all these conspiracy theorists in the Shedeur Sanders cult, like, you wouldn't realize anything was going on because it was just business as usual. And I think that's why maybe some of the coaches probably act a little shocked because, as a coach, you live in this little bubble, especially during the season. You're not really absorbing media. Yeah, you have to talk to them maybe once a week, but it's not something that you really pay a whole lot of attention to. So I think inside the locker room, it's not really a big deal. And I think Dylan and Shedeur, they get along, and everybody in the team has no problem with what's going on other than the fact that they do have to answer these questions, which can be a little distracting. And, once they leave and they go hang out with family or friends, I'm sure that's the topic of conversation when they're breaking bread around the dinner table.
What makes Gabriel a better quarterback right now than Sanders?
Well, it's just his ability to be able to handle that NFL offense. He played 6 years of college ball. He has an enormous amount of starting experience. I think he actually is the guy that set the record for playing the most games in college football because he did play those 6 seasons because of COVID. And so I think his just ability to go out there to be able to handle the enormous amount of things that you have to think about as an NFL quarterback, the tons of different defenses and looks and coverages, his ability to get rid of the football quickly, to move inside the pocket. Now, that's not saying he's a better long-term prospect or he has a higher ceiling, but right now he just has more capability of running the offense and at least setting up the other guys on that team than Shedeur Sanders does. And I think Shedeur's going to have a great NFL career, but we saw a lot of those issues that he had in college show up in that last preseason game against the Rams, where when things start breaking down or he's not feeling comfortable with the route combinations or maybe what he's seeing on defense, tends to drift in the pocket, tends to hang on to the football. And it's really hard to say, well, this guy's a better quarterback if he continues to just take sacks and drift in the pocket, because you never find out what the other guys are doing if he's getting sacked 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Joe, you mentioned a couple of different things. Excuse me. You mentioned a couple of different things here. Am I unfair? People say, well, this guy, and it's mostly Shedeur Sanders, but, well, he's a first-round talent. Am I being unfair to Joe Flacco when I say, well, if a guy was a first-round talent and there's all these conspiracies that dropped into the 5th round, regardless of conspiracy, he would have had the opportunity to show it in camp and should have been, as a first-round talent, able to beat out Joe Flacco. I mean, Joe Flacco was on a couch 3 years ago, for crying out loud. If you're a first-round talent, you should have been able to beat out a guy. Am I unfair in saying that, Joe?
You're not unfair in saying that, and there's a lot of nuance in it, which the Shedeur Sanders cult doesn't have, right? They just believe that we're morons for not being able to see that this guy is the greatest thing since sliced bread, the greatest quarterback since Tom Brady, and he's ready right now to be able to elevate the franchise to their first Super Bowl of all time, and, we're the idiots for not seeing it. I think, yes, he has a higher ceiling. He's a great playmaker. He has tremendous accuracy. He has that feel when he's in the game of how to make those big plays. But just because you have that ceiling that's really high and that potential to be able to do that doesn't mean you can do it right now. And, as a first-round talent, that's typically the guy that they're able to put right in there right away and give him everything that they have. And, there's growing pains with every quarterback, especially a rookie. But I think the reason Shedeur fell to the 5th round is because they feel like he's got a lot of development that he still needs to do before he can be an NFL starting quarterback. And so I think that it's not fair to say that he's a first-round talent. It's easy to say that he has a very, very high ceiling, and had he been developed more within a pro-style offense, he may have been a higher draft choice. But the reality of the NFL draft is that you have 32 teams that all want to beat each other. And so they're not conspiring together to sabotage somebody who, by the way, would be great for the league. And he is great for the league because the league wants eyeballs. They want people watching their games. They want these great personalities. And so there's no reason they'd be trying to conspire against him and sabotage him. Actually, the opposite. They'd want to promote a guy like that because he's so great for the league. So it doesn't make sense on any level, but I do agree. He's a great talent, but he's not developed enough right now to be able to see that talent because he needs to be able to be in those pro-style systems for a lot longer before he will be able to show where that talent is.
Joe, I got to ask you, you played a million years, you're in the Hall of Fame, you're lining up against a guy, snap after snap after snap, right? How much garbage is talked? How much trash we talking? How much do we hey, man, don't do that. That hurt. That kind of thing. No, don't pull on this arm. You know what I mean? What is it like? Twice a year you line up against, the Ravens, or twice a year you're lining up, as you said, against Pittsburgh. So the guy against you, right? How personal does it get?
It can get pretty personal, but there's kind of different segments on the team of guys that can talk trash. Defensive guys love talking trash because they have to play an emotional brand of football, right? They have to get more out of themselves than they think is possible because of how hard it is to be able to sprint to the ball on every single play and to be able to smash your head and take on double teams and do all those things. And so I think they a lot of times talk trash to get themselves emotionally charged up, whereas us on the offensive line, we didn't want that emotion. We wanted no emotion in what we did. We wanted to be like robots. We wanted to be slaves to our technique and to our assignment. And we wanted that guy across from us to take a nap on the field. So really, instead of trash talk for me, I was always going up to the guy before the game, saying, "Hey, man, you're playing great out there this year. Keep up the great work. You got my vote for the Pro Bowl. How's the wife and kids? How's the family?" You wanted to make him a friend. Yeah. And then by the end of the game, you wanted him to be like, "Oh, wait, I'm supposed to play an NFL game? I didn't even remember that. I'm not fired up at all. I'm the sleeping bear in the corner and nobody poked me and woke me up." So I never wanted to tug on Superman's cape. I always wanted to be his buddy and just get through that game. And then at the end of the game, "Hey, great game, buddy. You didn't have any stats, but you really played tough. Man, I couldn't believe how I was able to block you at all."
Yeah, shocking. I surprised myself. I can't believe how great.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. You're unbelievable.
That's incredible. Hey, Joe, what's going on with Hall of Fame beef, man? What are we doing?
Yeah, man. So when I retired in 2008, I had to dump my passion into something, and I was 320 pounds and loved to eat my beef. And turns out food was my second passion. And so on my farm in Wisconsin in the Driftless Hills, we said, "Hey, let's try to raise some cattle." So we've been raising Wagyu and Angus cattle on my farm in Wisconsin, and now we're selling it direct to consumer online at HallOfFameBeef.com, where you got sticks and jerky and the most amazing steaks of all time. And really, this has become a passion project for me. Actually, after this interview, I'm going to drive out there and start feeding some of our cattle. So it's really something that's cool. I've got some awesome feedback. And if you're interested in farm to table, small family farm, premium beef, premium Wagyu, the most delicious melt in your mouth, buttery steaks you've ever had in your life, go to HallOfFameBeef.com and check them out.
All right, hang on here. I want to make sure because I'm going to it now.
Oh, baby.
What I do is when people, I have a friend that gives me Cubs tickets, so I usually send him, Omaha steaks. And I got another buddy did something really nice for me. So I'm looking right now. You guys ship, right? Hall of Fame beef ships, right?
That's right. We ship coast to coast, and one of our biggest, most popular things is actually the gift boxes where you can send something nice to somebody. And if people are like an Omaha Steaks, man, we're going to blow them away, let me tell you, because we're a few notches above probably anything else that's shipping direct to consumer. So let me know. I'll ship you a box, and then I can help out on your buddy, or you can order right on the website and, help out the local kids that work for me. I love it. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate the love, man.
It. Yeah. No, I'm doing it right now. I'm sending the broadcaster of the Cubs, Boog Shambi. I'm sending him some. I'm sending Urban Meyer some right now because Urban did something nice for me. He's a longtime friend, and Shambi got me Cubs tickets. So there it is. I'm on it. I'm sending there it is. Hall of Fame beef.
That's right. Look at that.
I'm gonna get a
looking delicious. Yeah, I mean, most people our age. Yeah, most people our age. The last thing they want is like another trinket they got to put somewhere. They don't know where to put it. But when you send them something that they can eat and they can put a smile on their face and put a smile on their family's face, and it's healthy and it's nutritious, it's delicious, like that's the type of gift that I want to see showing up on my doorstep.
That's right. And you know what? You know what I learned, Joe? Next time I call for tickets, they get me the tickets.
That's right. That's right.
Beef. So there you go.
Hey, you want more beef? Give me more tickets, bro.
That's it. Joe, I'm on it. There will be a couple orders from the Dakiches. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on. That was great stuff. There's the Shedeur Sanders cult. Last thing. That reminded me of the Tebow cult when he got into the NFL, man. That was a cult, too. That thing was a cult.
It was, and it's the same thing. Like in Cleveland, they really like Shedeur, but honestly, I think a lot of people, fans, coaches, people in the administration, the front office, the players, they're tired of like the silliest comments of all time. Like as a broadcaster, I would say something nice about Dylan Gabriel, and it was like I couldn't say something nice about him because it was an insult to Shedeur. And I was like, well, right now I'm talking about Dylan because he's in the game and he's throwing the ball and he's doing a nice job. And if he doesn't do a nice job, I'm going to say it as well. That doesn't mean I don't like Shedeur, because I do. I told him back in the spring, I was like, I think the Browns should draft Shedeur Sanders. I think he's got a great ceiling, could be the franchise quarterback. But it's like they're so blind to the fact that like he was drafted in the 5th round. He has a high ceiling, but he needs to develop. And that's an okay thing. That's what happens to a lot of NFL quarterbacks. That doesn't mean he's not going to be amazing down the line. That doesn't mean that we can't enjoy watching Joe Flacco as a starter or watching Dylan Gabriel's development. So if this cult, the same way it happened with Tebow, just continues to be over the top, they're actually going to hurt their guy Shedeur, because people are going to be tired of hearing about all this craziness. And that's what happened with Tebow. Like nobody wanted to find a role for him because they were tired of all of his cult followers following him around and just harassing everybody that was trying to do good for the guy.
That's right. I've said that on this show. Like, if you want to help Shedeur, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, man. Appreciate you, Joe. I'm on
Thanks,
this.
Dan.
I'm on it. I'm
appreciate
searching.
it.
I'm on it. I'm going to get a good grip. You got it, man. There he goes. The great Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer. And look, I'm not lying. Hall of Fame beef. I am on it, and I am sending people Hall of Fame beef, and I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve, which is a 5-star rating, because this is an easy website to navigate. And so Urban Meyer and Boog Shambi, they're both going to get Hall of Fame beef, and I appreciate Joe Thomas for coming on. All right, I'm going to spare you this throat for the rest of the show. We're going to be back at it tomorrow, and I appreciate everybody. I do. I appreciate everybody that came on, Dylan and Davey and Nick. Brooke, everybody, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.